But what has man done? Man has said, what? Man said, when you don't get, they took out for the love of, right? They erased that, and all you know is money is the root of all evil. And here it doesn't say all evil, all kinds of evil, but it says for the love of it, which simply means the contrast to that would be I am to not fall in love with my wealth. I am to not fall in love with the money in my account, so I can then be a steward. I can let money come in and go out effectively. I can manage it appropriately, and I'm not tied to it. But the moment I love it and I identify with it and I create a relationship with it, then that's where the temptation steps in. That's where poor judgment can occur. And God is simply saying here, not for you not to have money and that money is evil. He is saying the love of it is evil. That is not why he placed it here. So it's important that we understand the program. I just wanted to pull some high level points. And the next thing I want to step into is why can't we see it? Okay. And so first off, it starts with our parents. We were born into it. You listen to these truisms, you listen to the language patterns, right? You see the emotional responses, and then what it does, it creates a neural connection in your brain, in your subconscious, and then now, because you witnessed it, you experienced it, and you put emotion with it, it becomes a belief. So now it's true to you because there's evidence. It becomes a fact. And because your sphere of understanding or comfort is so small that you will walk around life, if you don't expand with new inputs, new concepts and information, then you'll be in a place where you believe that it is always true. Then the next phase of programming then moves us into the school system, right? The farming of this, the cultivation, the conditioning of this, right? The way we learn, sit still, be programmed, be robotic, that the truism of if you pass a test, then you understand it, which means that you learned it, and that's not true. So we've now gotten into the space that if we hear it and we believe we understand it, it is something that we have now learned. And that is not the truth to learning. And that is not the true definition of learning will be surrounded around how many different depictions of a variance of understanding on a specific topic or relationship do we have with that specific origin. And what I mean by that is, for example, let's just use snow, right? So I heard this from Tony Robbins. When you go to Alaska and you have the Inuit, right? So the people of Alaska, they have many different words they have for snow. I live in Michigan, snow is snow. So who's more intelligent when it comes to snow? They are, right? But there's the learning, there's the experience, and there's execution. I don't study. I know what snow is. I've heard it. I've seen it in books. It's very limited, right? So the programming of truisms and thinking that we learn something just because we understand it is not true. We're not in agreement. But then if somebody asks you, like, okay, what types of snow are there? What can they be used for? What are some of their functions? What are some of the abilities, right? Capabilities? You may be like, I don't know. I could throw a snowball, right? Or go skiing with fake snow. That's it. While they have to use snow to build, to live, to sustain life. Two totally different types of relationships. But the schooling system, right, has deceived us, and it continues to deceive us. How do we know? Let's fast forward to today. There was a time where, yes, if you graduated, you can get a job and have a decent career and live a decent life. Now, the cost of school has continued to rise. The value of a degree has decreased, right, to the point that the Ivy League schools are willing to allow non-accredited people to take courses to get a certificate they can put on their LinkedIn account to say they're affiliated with Wharton, Harvard, Yale, MIT. You couldn't do that 20 years ago, 10 years ago. There was a very gated, private selection here, right? Application versus acceptance rate very low, sub 10% in all those schools. It's all different today. So the schooling system has really farmed and cultivated these truisms and these lack of truths, and therefore people have suffered economically, right? Because you thought once I got that paper, I was going to be on my way, but I didn't learn how to manage money in school. I didn't learn anything about emotional intelligence in school. You didn't learn anything about how to network and build relationships in school. And so, therefore, you were not prepared to really ascend in life. And then again, the power of language. We kind of really spent some time in that earlier, but it doesn't change even here. Now you're communicating this lack and not knowing that God is giving you the power of life through your tongue. And when we say power of life, it doesn't mean just life as in death or staying alive. It also means taking a vision, something that God has given you, and be able to speak that vision, communicate that vision to the right parties, and then the right people come enter the realm of what it is that God called you to do, and then the manifestation of it takes place. That is life. That is taking something out of the spiritual into the physical and then making it evident. And we have done that. We've seen it with technology. We've seen it with the buildings that we're in, that somebody saw something in their mind. They were able to articulate it, amass and assemble the correct team, the correct infrastructure, the right knowledge, specific knowledge. They also put that knowledge to work, and then voila, we're talking as a result. We're engaging right now because somebody took something from the spiritual, articulated it, and now it's physical.